Hello again. Today we're going to make a collage using a technique similar to this one, which uses a mosaic background and my special Reinker glaze. In this lesson we're going to use as our model this piece here, which has a mosaic background, and the paint that I use is actually a mixture of Reinkers and acrylic glazed medium. So I am starting with a kind of mosaic pattern of uneven squares that I have collaged with my gel medium onto this wooden board. I've used a lot of old vintage book pages. We've got some handwritten text here, a couple of pieces of some paper I got at Michael's. There's some Italian writing, some in English, and some in Chinese. So I've got kind of a mixture here of white, ivory, and a light brown. Now I'm going to make my Reinker paint, which is this Reinker. The Reinkers were originally designed to re-ink stamp pads, and they work fine for that, but creative artists have found a lot of other ways to use them. And I use them to make a very luminous, rich colored paint. So I use them with the glazed medium. The glazed medium makes it a stronger paint film and allows it to adhere to the surface without fading. So I'm going to squeeze on some acrylic glazed medium, put in some Reinker, mix that together, and put down the first layer. You can see what a beautiful color this is. And as I did last time, I take something, this time a paper towel, to sponge up some of the image, some of the paint, the Reinker paint. And there you have a very, very rich background. And one of the things that's interesting with using different kinds of papers is that they absorb the ink differently. While this is drying, let's talk about choosing images. I think one of the challenging things in choosing images is finding things that will look good up close, but you will also be able to sort of be drawn into the piece from a distance. This is an example. If I were to use this image, it would look nice up close. But if I move it farther away, the farther away I get, the less I'm going to be drawn into the piece because it's indistinct. So rather than using that image that I just showed you, I would crop the image and enlarge it. In fact, I would probably make it even bigger than this, so that these two little children would draw the viewer in right away, and it would look good again close and far away. Sometimes it's just a matter of trying different things. I like to make a lot of images and try different ones after I get the background started. This is one possibility. I'm looking at a circular image. And here's an example of a collage that's finished that has a circular image in it. So that's one possibility. And this is another possibility. They're both good. I think I'll go with this one because it's a little darker and gives more contrast. So let's go ahead and put that image on. As we did last time, we're using the gel medium. In this case, it has some of the Reinker in it, but no problem. I'm going to put it just slightly off center. Some of the ideas of composition are tried and true, such as putting things not quite in the center, or putting them down below, closer to the right side, because we move our eyes from left to right. Again, I'm going to make sure that I have this completely stuck down, so I'm searching for any places that aren't. Okay. Now, at this point, I can decide if I want another layer on it. And I really like this color, so I don't want to do too much that's going to change that. But maybe we'll try just a little bit. I'm going to try another color just because 2 layers are always richer looking, or 3 or 4, however many you want to put. This is ginger, and it's quite a dark color, but you can see again how rich it is. So I'm going to go around my image. I kind of got too much here. So take my paper towel, and again I'm going to move a lot of this paint along and remove it. So now it kind of has the look of old paper. But maybe I want to add some of the caramel back, and I can do that too. Just with another layer. I think this image is dry enough now that I can begin to bring it into the back, although I'm going to wait on the actual face. Okay, so that's a very kind of playful process. Now I'm adding a third layer of a very rich green called lettuce, and I'm adding it unevenly. So there, I think that's the background where I want it. We're going to use a little bit of paint with this stencil. The Reinkers wouldn't be quite thick enough. So I'm using some blue paint with this stencil, and I like this stencil because it's I've used it with beeswax painting with encaustic, and so it's got a lot of wax around it, and that makes the holes of different sizes and shapes, so it gives kind of that aged effect that I like. Now I'm going to blot this a little, and then when it's dry I'm going to recover it. So now I'm going to look for ways to emphasize this area that's round. And I'm going to do something kind of strange. I'm going to take this paper towel that I've been using, And I'm actually going to collage this down with my gel medium. So I keep my old paper towels, shop towels, things that I use to wipe my paint off. I keep them around because they're often very, very interesting added to a collage because they already have paint designs around them. Okay. So as you can see, I'm putting this paper towel around here, and I've still got some of the green color on my brush. This isn't a necessary step, but it's kind of fun. Okay, now we've got design that is varied. It's got the square shapes and then round as well. Oops, okay. After I put on the paper towel, now I'm going over it with some of the caramel and some of the lettuce colors that we used earlier to blend it in. But the texture of the paper towel, and it's okay that it wrinkles, it's making it look like our figure is emerging from this frame, which is kind of interesting because the image is a self-portrait by the Italian Renaissance artist Sofonisba Anguissola. And she was very successful in an era when, of course, women painters were rare and had a hard time making it in the art world. So I have also decided that I'm not going to do much. I haven't done much to these stenciled areas because I think they blend in pretty well the way they are, but I have gone over them a bit with some of the caramel ink. And now I'm going to continue doing some writing on here. I have a Copic multiliner waterproof pen. You can also use kind of a medium nibbed Sharpie, but you need to wait until this background is dry. But I'm just doing some text here. On another design, I would possibly add text all over the background, but we've already got text in our mosaic pieces, so I think that is enough. So we have obeyed some of the basic rules of composition here. We have the very busy, very, very layered areas that mimic something aged and seasoned, and then we've got an area for the eye to rest, and that's I think an important thing to know about composition is that if the entire piece was this busy, you wouldn't get any kind of a dramatic sense about it. It would just, it would make nice wallpaper possibly, but if you're going to do a piece of art, then you really need to have a focal point. So for another finishing touch, I'm going to do what I did on the last piece in the last lesson and go around the edges with the stamp pad, darkening the corners. And bringing some of the dark in so that it gives a kind of frame. Another thing that I'm in the process of doing is painting the sides of the piece. Now, if you have a flat panel that doesn't have an edge, I'm going to show you later how to attach it to a panel with an edge. But since this one does have an edge, I'm going to make use of it. And I'm putting some Payne's Gray on the piece here. So painting the edges also, again, really finishes the piece. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing now. I think it's totally finished, but sometimes I like to do something just a little audacious touch, kind of a sweet spot. And I've got here some watermelon, which is a very bright color of ink, and I'm just going to try bringing some of that around here. And you can see that again, it just adds a nice finished touch to the piece. It brings in another color and makes the image stand out even more. So here we have it, a collage and painting mixed media piece in honor of one of our foremothers, the artist Sofonisba Anguissola. We've used paper cut into semi-squares and collaged with gel medium onto a wooden surface. In this case, you could also use canvas or canvas board. We've covered it with several layers of reinkers mixed with glaze medium. We've added stenciling here at the bottom. We've used stained paper towels to create this border around the circle of the image, which was affixed with gel medium. We've added text. We have put stamp pad ink around the edges and in the corners, and I think that's it. And here you have a very nostalgic kind of look at an artist from the past.